Hi, welcome back to the Spirit's Path. This is Dee, and today's tarot card of the day out of the Wildwood Tarot deck is the King of Bows, an adder. And if you'd like a personal tarot reading, click that link down below in the description box and set up a date and we'll get to it. So as I said, today's card is the King of Bows in the adder. And when I was thinking about this card today, kings to me are all about leadership and authority. And I was like, wow, another court card. You've had a very strong run of court cards here within the last 7 to 10 days. You have down there two kings, one with stones, and this one is all about fire energy, so passion and creativity. You've still got two pages down here with the page of stones and a page of vessels. So there's some messages around finances as well as emotions, and we've talked about that, about remaining even keel, not trying to get too high or too low when it comes to finances. And then you got the Knight of Vessels down there, who's just he's letting you know through that fighter tactician card that he's also you need to be even keel. You need to look at the ins and outs of what's being told to you if you're looking at your finances, and that's what we were talking about about before. And then the pole star came up, and the message there was the universe has your back. You're doing all the right things. And then yesterday's card, the Nine of Stones, tradition. Nine of Stone in tradition, that could be we were talking about traditional values. And if you think about the traditional values when it comes to finances, for myself, I always grew up in a situation where we always saved for money. We always saved for what we wanted. We never spent more than what we needed. All right. And that was, something that I've passed on, to my children, save that money, and then buy what you want. Right. Don't, go ahead and put yourself in debt. Make sure all those credit cards are paid off every month. That way you're not living in this, oh my gosh, I got to pay this. Oh my gosh, I got to pay that. So, when it comes to money, everybody gets worried about it, right? And some say money's the root of all evil, and it's not. It's how you use it. All right, it could be a great resource for you, right? It could be a great benefit in your life, all right, that you can use wisely and help others with, right? So getting back to the King of Bows and the adder. He's really about magical power and healing. Where the King of Stones was the protector of the underworld, okay, this adder is all about the magical power, the healing, as I said, of within as well as without. And if you think about healing in itself, laying on of hands, right, or praying for somebody and all of a sudden they get better, that's the magical power that this King of Bows, this adder, talks about. And it's all about that passion. It's all about that fire, right? And he's a leader in action, okay? He's the one that goes out there, all right? And he's helping heal people, right? He's fighting the fight, all right? And he's giving the rallying cries and stuff like that. But, when he's in his kingdom, he's going around talking to everybody out in the kingdom. Not in the castle, but everybody that's out in his kingdom, right? And he's just letting them know, hey, you're doing a great job. Keep up that passion. Keep up that fire, that creativity, as we're moving forward. And, if there's anything I can do to help you, I will. And that's how he comes to you, today. So, he's very charismatic. He's a very attractive, mature leader, whether that's male or female. All right. Kings, I kind of look at divine masculines. With two of those down here, and the pages are kind of they're not divine feminines, but they're in the feminine category. That's how I look at them. So you've got a lot of divine masculine down here with some some feminine characteristics as well with the two pages. All right, this King of Bows, he's got a strong resolve. Okay, he wants to see you succeed, as do all of them. Okay, the King of Stones wants to see you succeed in your finances. This King of Bows wants you to see you succeed, in your passionate endeavors, right? Whatever that is. And he's got a lot of high energy, and he's got a lot of wisdom that he can pass on to you. And his leadership is really unchallenged. Not to say that the wolf, will come to him and talk to him, all right? But they'll have conversations, all right? And the King of Bows may look at the Wolf and say, you know what, I really admire your financial fortitude. And he goes, yeah, well, you know, if I didn't have the passion like you have, I would have never, you know, gotten to where I'm at, you know, to grow my kingdom, okay? And, you know, the King of Bows, this adder, is very direct, and he, you know, he makes sure that his goals, are, you know, or your goals are going to be realized. As I like to do with the court cards, I like to talk about, you know, if this is a person or aspect or an event. If this is a person in your life, or if this is you, it's somebody who's going to be very honorable, okay? Someone who stands out in a crowd. I'm not saying it's flamboyant, but they're going to carry themselves tall. They're going to carry themselves like the leader that they are, okay? And you're going to see that within somebody. You're going to say, wow, you know, they're a leader in the community, and they may not even be on the board of the community, right? You know, they just have a lot of leadership ability, you know, the way they look and, you know, the way they hold themselves. It's someone who also takes charge, right? Somebody who's out there saying, hey, let's all get together and work on the, you know, the front gate flower bed, right? And everybody's going to rally to that cry, right? And come out there and say, yeah, let's do that. Okay. And he's going to do so in a way that's very charismatic. You know, hey guys, if we go out there and we take care of this, you know, there's going to be, you know, beautiful flowers, and, you know, we'll get this done and out of the way. And before you know it, you know, then it's just tending stuff. It's not even planting stuff anymore. All right. If this is an aspect of, you know, that person or you know, it's putting their touch on things, right? He may say, you know, hey, this flower bed looks great, but let's put a little purple here, a little blue there, a little yellow there. And people are going to listen to him and say, you know what? Yeah, that really, you know, because he sees the vision. He's trying to portray that vision over to everybody else. And at the same time, he's going to be assertive, and he's going to be very enthused around doing so. And if this is an event, it's establishing a position, okay? And it's taking that stand, drawing that line in the sand and saying, you know what? This is how we're going to do this. And he's not going to do it in a demonstrative, you know, whip slaying leadership role. He's going to do it with saying, you know, how you guys feel about this? You know, I was thinking about possibly doing it this way, right? And, you know, and everybody will listen to it. And he goes, you know what? There's no going back. Once we start, this is what the vision is, you know, and he keeps that going forward, you know, with the group that's out there. Okay. And it's looking for opportunities to reach a goal. So, you know, look at the opportunities for your goals that you have set up, whether that's finances, creativity, relationships. All right. And he's going to come along and he's going to put that little passionate fire in your life. Okay. He's going to light it up a little bit higher for you to reach that goal. And that's, you know, maybe there's a dating thing going on in town, right? That you want to go to, you know, to meet, you know, new people. Or maybe there's that financial event, you know, and he's going to say, you know what? You want to reach this goal? Go to this event, right? Learn more about what's going on. All right, get some knowledge and wisdom, because that's how they became kings, you know, and their partners queens. They attended events. They listened to what was going on, and that's why they're ruling the kingdom and ruling the castle. So, you know, with the court cards, I like to ask the questions, you know, and this one says, where do you need to take charge? Where do you need to take charge is those traditional values, right? Passing them on, right? Or maybe, you know, hey, this was passed on to me. I want to take hold of this, right? I want to start moving forward in my finances. I want to start moving forward in that relationship, right? Knowing that the universe has your back. Okay, so you can go ahead and take charge, and the universe is guiding you. Okay, the Knight of Vessels, you know, are where are your emotions running high. If you keep an even keel while you're taking charge, you don't have to worry about where your emotions are running high. All right? The Page of Stones. What can you learn from this situation? So when you take charge, you can see how people respond to you. You can see, you know, the relationships that you have, right? And then you can learn from that. You can learn, you know, from body language and listening to people. Okay, that king of stones is saying, you know, who is offering you the riches, or what is offering you the riches? And by taking charge of saying, you know what, this is where I want, you know, my life to be. That's where you're taking charge of, you know, looking at those offerings that are out there. And then the Page of Vessels is saying, where do you need to, you know, for your feelings to show? And it's all right. It's all right to let the kings know how you feel. You know, both the King of Stones and the King of Bows. You know, and let them know, hey, you know, I really feel, you know, that I can do, you know, 50% more, you know, on this project. And they're going, okay, you know, how do you want to do that? And you're like, well, you know what? I think we should get so-and-so, so-and-so, and so-and-so, put them on a project, and we can increase our revenue, you know, by 50%. You know, or maybe 5%. 50% is probably, you know, highly unlikely. But, you know, even if it's a 5% uptick, right? Just in the way, you know, you move around a store, you move around your office, or, you know, generating ideas, making things flow a little bit better, right? And, you know, that's how you can take that charge. And then the other question that he asks is, where's your enthusiasm leading you? Okay, if your enthusiasm is that high and you're passionate about something, you're going to be in charge of projects. You're going to be in charge of that, you know, vacation planning for your family. You're going to be in charge of, you know, taking that next step in your finances, right? Because you're so passionate about learning. You're so passionate about, you know, moving forward and getting to that goal, that this King of Bows is going to, you know, be there to help you, you know, move forward. So that's today's message out of the Wildwood Tarot deck, the King of Bows and the Adder. Hit that like button for me, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, give me a thumbs up, and check out that stand store down below. And if you'd like a personal reading. And this is D for Spirit's Path. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Take care, God bless, and stay safe, everybody.